All right, today we're tackling a really big question, one that's on a lot of our minds. How do we get our kids ready for a world that's just full of AI? Let's dive into some clear, practical answers.
You know that famous line, right? With great power comes great responsibility. Well, it is seriously never been more true than right now. AI is an unbelievably powerful tool, and as we put it into the hands of the next generation, we have to teach them that responsibility.
Look, AI is here and it's not going anywhere. So our job isn't to be scared of it or try to ban it. Nope. Our job is to become guides. Our role is to teach kids how to navigate this new world, how to use these tools effectively, ethically, and most importantly, safely.
So that's the million-dollar question, right? How do we actually do this? It can feel super complicated, but the core ideas are actually pretty straightforward. So let's break them down. Okay, so first things first. We have to start with what I think is the single most important concept we need to get across to our kids. And that's how an AI really thinks, because it's completely different from how we think, and getting this part right is the foundation for everything else. And here it is, the absolute core of it all. AI doesn't know truth. It doesn't have beliefs or understanding like we do. It doesn't know the sky is blue. It just knows that in billions of sentences it has analyzed, the word blue very often follows the phrase, the sky is. So what is it doing? It's basically just word prediction. Seriously, the best way to think about it is like a super-powered autocomplete on your phone. It has scanned a mind-boggling amount of text from the internet, and from all that data, it's just making a very, very educated guess about what the next word should be. It's a pattern-matching machine. It is not a truth machine. That's a huge difference.
Yeah, this really breaks it down. AI is amazing at spotting patterns, but, and this is a big but, because it's just predicting, it can be totally confidently wrong. You'll hear people call these hallucinations. It just doesn't have judgment. We humans, on the other hand, we understand context, we check our facts, we use our judgment. And you know what? That's our superpower here. That's the part that can't be replaced.
Okay, so now that we get the what, that AI is a prediction engine, let's move on to the how. How do we actually use it responsibly? This is where we start building those critical digital citizens.
And honestly, it all boils down to three simple but really powerful habits. Number one, always question what it gives you. Just because the AI said it doesn't make it true. Number two, always verify. Go to trusted sources, books, good websites, a teacher, and double check the facts. And number three, always cite it. If you use it for help with homework, you have to give it credit, just like any other source. This is probably my favorite way to explain it to kids, and adults too, really. Use AI like a calculator for thinking. Think about it. You'd never blame your calculator if you got an answer wrong because you typed in the wrong numbers, right? The calculator is just a tool. Your brain does the real work of figuring out the problem and then deciding if the answer makes any sense.
And that is exactly the point. These are amazing tools for helping us think, but they are not a replacement for our own thinking. That final call, that critical analysis, figuring out if the information is actually right and useful, that always, always has to come from us.
All right, this next one is a big one. It's a hard and fast safety rule. We have to teach our kids to never share personal information with an AI. No names, no age, no school, definitely not where they live. They need to understand that these conversations can be saved, they can be reviewed by people, so protecting their privacy is absolutely non-negotiable. Okay, so that's the theory, but talking about it is one thing, right? How do we actually make these lessons stick? Let's get super practical. I've got three simple but really powerful activities you can do at home or even in the classroom to bring all these ideas to life. So, activity number one is a game I like to call Truth or Trick. It's simple. Ask an AI a question, maybe something about history or science. Then you tell your kids they're now detectives. Their mission, should they choose to accept it, is to investigate and figure out if the AI's answer is the truth or a trick. This makes fact-checking feel like a game, not a chore. Next up, you can try some role-playing. You can create these little scenarios. For instance, you could say, okay, the AI just gave you an answer for your homework, but something about it feels off. What would a responsible AI user do right now? Acting it out like this helps build a kind of ethical muscle memory for when they face these situations for real. And for our third activity, this one's really creative. You have your kids design their own perfect AI tutor. Ask them, what rules should it have to be safe and fair? Maybe rule number one is, you have to tell me where you got your information. This is so cool because it gets them thinking critically not just as a user, but as a designer of technology. So, when we put all this together, what does it actually mean for the future? Well, it means that our uniquely human skills, creativity, critical thinking, our judgment, they're not going away. In fact, they are becoming more valuable than ever before.
And this right here is the main takeaway. The future isn't some battle of AI versus humans. It's about humans who know how to work with AI. The people who will thrive are the ones who can use these incredible tools, but still bring their own creative spark and critical mind to the table. And that is the person we want to help our kids become. And that brings us right back to the beginning. The goal here isn't to have one big, scary talk about AI. It's about starting an ongoing conversation. So, I'll leave you with this question. After everything we've talked about today, what's the first AI conversation you're going to have with your child?